Howdy do y'all, this is John, and today we're talking about Treasure Planet, a movie released back in 2002 with the voices of Joseph Gordon-Levitt and also Brian Murray. And in Treasure Planet, it deals with this teenage boy named Jim Hawkins, who is given a treasure map from a dying pirate named Bones, and goes on a quest to try and find this treasure. And of course, by the way, mild spoilers. I grew up with this movie. I cannot talk about without getting into a little bit of detail, but I will not reveal like the ending or anything like that. I will not spoil too much. I remember back in May I reviewed Atlantis, and I said, next week I was going to do a review of another Disney animated film that I do not think should be remade, and this is long overdue, and I figured better late than never. And yes, this is that movie. I genuinely do not think this should be remade. I think it is best the way it is. First of all, this is an adaptation of Treasure Island, a space sci-fi adaptation, and I just love how they handled it. You get these cyberpunk and steampunk mixed together images that you don't necessarily see in a whole lot of movies. These people were very imaginative as to how to handle that and how to mix those elements together. You get these old school type of ships from like the 18th and 19th century, and they added in these sort of sci-fi cyberpunk aspects to them. Instead of wind sails, they have solar sails. They have like these engines at the back of it. Long John Silver, he has these steampunk sort of limbs and stuff like that, and even an eyeball. Speaking of Long John Silver, let's talk about him and Jim Hawkins. They are this incredible duo, and they're the protagonist and the antagonist of the movie. Silver, he's a pirate in disguise. Like I said, it's mild spoilers. I have to talk about some of the stuff in this movie. I will not reveal everything. But yeah, Silver, he's a pirate, and he's in disguise, and the bond between him and Jim Hawkins, you don't get that a whole lot in movies. The sort of bond between the villain and the hero. What other movie has that? Not a lot. And they're like this father-son type of bond. Jim, his father, abandoned him when he was a kid, and he had no other father figure. And Silver acts as this father figure until the big reveal he's the bad guy. And even after that, he still acts like a father. He still cares about Jim, and you don't get that very often. And this movie is just simply exciting from beginning to end, and there's not really anything boring going on. And you have to compliment the directors Clements and Jon Musker for that. They clearly know how to handle animation. They did this back then. They still do it today. They showed it with Moana, one of the few recent Disney animated movies that I actually liked. Probably one of only 2 non-Pixar Disney movies that's animated that I've liked recently. The other one's Zootopia. I didn't really care for Wreck-It Ralph or Frozen, which I know is controversial. Oh, and Big Hero 6. I actually liked that one. It's just nothing great. Sometimes I forget about Big Hero 6. That was a good one. Nothing great, but it was good. And Ron and Musker, I just loved what they did here. And I just cannot explain it. I just love it. It's awesome. The only thing that hasn't aged well about this movie is the character of Ben. You know, I loved Ben as a kid. I did not care for him as an adult. This is the first time in years I've seen Treasure Planet, and, you know, Ben just didn't age well for me. I found him a little more annoying than funny. You know, he just yells all the time. And I just find no enjoyment in that as an adult. Other than Ben, though, this movie aged incredibly. It was one of my favorite movies as a child, and honestly, it's still one of them, even though it's not perfect. I'm gonna give Treasure Planet a 9. Well, that's all I have for today. Please like this video if you enjoyed it. Please also subscribe if you're new. And as always, please remember, the Bodetsky will return.